Hello guys, and today is December 10th, and it's a Monday, so tomorrow new movies come out. A couple of the big ones are going to be Harry Potter, the fifth one, and big anticipated one, Bourne Ultimatum. Now today I actually wanted to talk about the Bourne series. Now because, Bourne Ultimatum is coming out tomorrow, I already watched it just recently, 2 hours ago, just finished like 10 minutes ago. So, definitely wanted to talk about that. Now, some of my reviews of the first two movies might be a little bit not quite so complete, mostly I haven't watched the first two movies for a long, long time. So, anyway, there's this great invention. It's, the development of Wikipedia. Oh, it's a great mechanic for updating information. Anyway, so I refreshed myself a little bit, and I'm going to be reviewing Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, and Bourne Ultimatum. So, let's start with Bourne Identity. That's the first one in the series. Stars Matt Damon. He is the guy in the movie known as Jason Bourne, and what ends up happening is it's this very action-packed movie about this guy who basically has amnesia and he doesn't know what's going on. But he ends up finding out that he has these skills, these very suspicious skills of very good hand-to-hand combat. He knows how to handle guns and other things like that. So, I mean, basically he has the skills of like a skilled fighter or like a trained assassin. Anyway, I don't use those words selectively too much, but as we all know, or if you haven't already seen Bourne Ultimatum, there's spoilers probably as I go through this. Not too many huge ones, hopefully. But anyway. So Bourne Identity, I definitely liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty good. It's a very action-packed, cutthroat kind of film, and it's just like, it's intense, in your face. Overall, I really had not too many problems with it. If I did, they weren't too huge that I really remembered them or anything. So it's probably, I would actually say the whole series is actually really good. So the Bourne series is a very good action-packed series. Now, anyway, with the sequel, Bourne Supremacy, they kind of picked it up. I think the time frame was like a year afterwards or something. But Jason Bourne has some time to get along with his life and do some other things besides run from the CIA and the cops and everybody else who's trying to get him. But I don't know. The second one I think has a little bit dynamic than the first one. The first one was used to build and develop the main character, set up the situation, and basically introduce you to all the other characters that I think you would need to know. But the second one, they didn't have to do any of that, really. So what they ended up happening was they actually created a deeper story out of it. Now, I'm not sure if anybody else knows. I'm sure you all know by now, but if you don't, here's your little tidbit of information. All these movies are based on a series of books by the same name. And, of course, I don't read any books, I just watch the movies, so any of those people who watched the movies and read the books might have different reviews than me. Typically, in my line of work, movie business, not really making movies, just watching them, but if I've never heard of a single instance where the movie was better than the book. I've only heard of instances where the movie was almost just as good or maybe even just as good as the book. But usually the book's always better. So anyway, Bourne Supremacy, he finds out more about himself, more about his past, more about his previous mission. And he finds like a lot of random stuff that was left for him, whether it was for previous missions or just for himself or who knows what. But anyway, a lot of good stuff happens in that movie. Very action-packed, like as the first one. I think the only huge qualm I had about it that I distinctly remember, a lot of the camera angles and a lot of like the panning, it was a lot more, I don't even know how to, maybe more rugged. There was like a lot of shaking in the second movie compared to the first one. Like it wasn't quite as stable. I don't even know how to describe it, but as much as I feel that I think it actually plays towards, the style of the film and the intensity of, the scenes or whatever, I don't know. Let's just say that was really my only problem with it. But anyway, overall, still a good film, like Bourne Supremacy. The third one is called The Bourne Ultimatum. Now, in this one, I believe there's some scene at the end of Bourne Supremacy. It kind of leaves Bourne injured or whatnot, and so we're kind of left wondering. I mean, he hasn't died yet, but he's kind of like, gotten out of immediate danger. So, the beginning of this movie, I was actually watching the special features really quick, but it seems like they took off pretty much right from the end of Bourne Supremacy. So, it maybe like, I think they said it was like just a few minutes after the end of the last movie. So, Bourne Ultimatum kind of picks up with a little bit of punching and kicking, and you see Jason Bourne kind of really injured from his previous battle. And that's that. Honestly, Matt Damon, I find he does a lot of good jobs in a lot of good movies. So I think he knows what he's doing, whether as an actor or just choosing the right roles that he can do well. So either way, I'd say he's a good actor. Bourne Ultimatum, though, I think is what actually seals the deal for the entire series for me, because as far as I saw before from Identity and Supremacy, there's that little differential. I mean, it's very entertaining, but the story kind of got worse, but only because I don't think they necessarily fully explained everything. And with Bourne Ultimatum, they pretty much answer all of the questions that you might have, like lingering in the back of your mind, like about the situation, Jason Bourne, the identity, and everything else that they kind of left open. Oh, and like all the relationships that aren't dead yet. So I thought that was pretty good. Now, there's a couple plot twists in this movie, and I thought they were all pretty good. And it, keeps it very intense and high intensity, skull-crushing action, and I don't even know what else to say. Like, I think in Bourne Supremacy, the second one, there was a scene where, like, Matt Damon, Jason Bourne, jumps through, like, a window and jumps to, like, an adjacent building. Well, I'm not sure if that was such a great shot in the second one. I thought I was pretty impressed with it at the time, but oh man, if there's anything in this one that you have to, like, just see, there's this one scene where Matt Damon goes jumping from building to building through all these windows and, like, open deck doors and, glass windows and glass doors, and it's ridiculous. But anyway, I would say very entertaining, very good, and kind of explains a lot more, which I think pretty much seals the deal for the series. And I won't tell you what, I want to say that the ending of the Bourne Ultimatum kind of leaves it open potentially for something maybe more, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, because that'd kind of be a spoiler, A, and B, you could probably figure it out from what I'm saying. But here's the problem with that. There's absolutely no more issues to deal with as far as, like, the rest of the story is concerned. So I think they wrapped it up pretty well. I think the only thing that they kind of leave open is self-evident at the end. So I'll leave that with you, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. But overall, I like the series a lot. Thought it was pretty good. Definitely recommend. I would say thumbs up for all of them. The problem is, I feel that if you watch number 2, you should watch number 3. I feel like the first one by itself is actually its own entity. It stands pretty well on its own, so you don't really need to. It's like The Matrix. Like, I felt the first Matrix movie was amazing and really good, but the problem was, like, the second and third ones couldn't stand on their own. Like, you should watch them together, which is odd because I feel like you should watch Spider-Man 1 and 2 together, but Spider-Man 3 I didn't even think was that great. So, but anyway. Whatever. Movies are great. Get ready for that. It's coming out soon, and hopefully you guys can watch that on DVD. For next week, maybe even later this week if I have some time, but I'm not sure which ones I'm going to choose. So if you guys have any ideas, I watched a handful of movies that are coming out in the next couple weeks already. Haven't watched a bunch of older ones that I think I should, and they kind of fit well because now I'm doing the 3 movie clusters. But anyway, alright, I've babbled long enough. I've probably just bored y'all to death. So anyway, I'm going to cut it here, and you guys have a nice night. Enjoy the movies.